Hello, Abnormal Investigations. I have an encounter for you that was shared to us by a game warden. Now, this one here is going to be one that I think we're going to get a lot of comments on, and it really kind of piqued my interest. So let's go ahead and read this one, and then I will get your all's input on it. Hello, my son loves your YouTube channel and listens to it all the time, and suggested that I tell one of my stories on here. So here it goes. I used to be a game warden for a certain state that I don't want to name. I have seen a lot of weird stuff in my 8 years. There before I got injured in a gunfight with a drunk poacher. One of the stranger things I've ever seen while I was employed was something I saw walking past my vicinity one early autumn afternoon. Dispatch gets a call about a person shooting at some deer right outside of someone's home from the street, and that person shooting was shooting from the side of the road inside of a blue truck parked on the shoulder of the road, which is very illegal. So I headed over to the location and met up with another game warden, and we start investigating the site. The shooting happened right on the shoulder next to a large house with a rather large lawn on the side of it that merged into a thick, dark woodland area. Me and my coworker found a .30-06 brass shell casing on the dirt on the shoulder, and it was still warm, confirming the call, while my partner interviewed the eyewitness who heard the shot and peeked out the window in time to see the blue truck drive off. I searched the area and possible bullet impact or even blood drops from a wounded animal. I eventually made my way to the tree line, where I happened to luck out and find a fresh impact spot on a tree. I took stills of it with my phone and then noticed that there was a bit of blood on the ground off to the side. I followed it into the woods. The land flowed up into a steep but short ridge covered in trees, and beyond this was some type of narrow gully that was like it floods during heavy rains. I stopped on top of the ridgeline and looked around, having lost the sparse blood trail. I scanned my surroundings slowly. That was about the time I started hearing something moving through the forest. I was coming from up a gully on my right, or it was coming, but out of sight because of all the trees. I thought it was wounded deer, and was about to step forward to get a sight of it, but then I started smelling something very awful. Now, Mike, I wouldn't be telling anybody this story if my child hadn't told me to tell you this and trusted you, so that makes me trust you. And also, I've heard you talk about the smell also. It was a faint smell of rotting meat and other smells that I won't mention, because if you have been around dead bodies before, you'll understand that it's not just the decomp of the flesh that stinks, but that they eat or drink also can blend in with it, and that's worse, is that it is getting stronger, and so was the noise coming at me. It was like something casually passing through thick brushes and dragging their feet across the ground. Whatever it was, it wasn't trying to be sneaky. I was just about to call out "Game Warden" to see if it was a person, but then I caught a sight of something in the narrow spaces of the tree trunks. A flash of something dark brown, or a mottled dark brown. I don't know, but for some reason it made me freeze in place as it slowly seemed to mender closer. Following the natural openness of this brushy gully. The smell was so strong now that I had to breathe more through my mouth, and I could make it a little more detailed through the trees now. I could see flashes of hair or fur, but it was complex, and the moments I could see it between the trees were too short to absorb the process much detail. Eventually it was on my 2 o'clock, and then the trees were less dense now, and it was visually passed in between them. I could make out more and more of what this thing was as it passed through the shorter trees. It was very large, very large. I want to say 8 feet tall and very wide in the shoulders. It was covered from head to toe in dark brown hair, but there was more to its appearance. The face looked like a caveman if it didn't shave, and it had black leathery skin, and one of the eyes was missing while the other was very foggy white. The mouth was agape, and it looked like it was missing some of its lower lip. The torso was patchy with large deep gashes with gray muscle tissue inside. But the worst part was that the abdomen was mostly missing, and what intestines remained was dangling right off the side of its hip. Its left thigh had a huge part missing on the outside of it, and the right foot was just gone. It was stepping on its own ankle stump. This thing had been in a massive fight, no doubt. It looked at me, let out a low growl, and it turned to this large cliff that falls down to rushing white waters. And it just fell. Slowly, gracefully, just fell off. Now, I don't know why it done this or what happened to it. Was it kicked out of a tribe? Had it been attacked by a tribe? Had it done something wrong? Was it, on its way out of life? I don't understand why this thing done that. But the thing that I keep thinking about is, you're talking about snouts, and this thing had what I would call a Rottweiler snout. Everything else matched perfectly to a Sasquatch, except for it had a Rottweiler snout. Mike, you're actually starting to make me think about some things now about these things having snouts and Sasquatch, and maybe all coming from the same thing. I appreciate your work, Mike. You're a good investigator. Continue with the good work. We'll be watching. Thank you. It just goes to show that you don't never know what you're going to run into. And eyewitness reports are very good reports. They help us determine, what's going on. Boots on the ground, I believe, guys, is a huge necessity in doing this. And I enjoy working with everybody, but I enjoy working with people that are boots on the ground, because that's where you're going to get your evidence. I mean, everything else, if you're just telling stories and you don't know. So I think you do need to get out and experience it and get dirty. But what do you all think he ran across, and why do you think it done what it done? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget, guys, tomorrow night, boots on the ground. We'll see you then.